Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is, make sure we got this date right. Thursday, June 27th. How is everybody doing? That's right, y'all. You're almost on the backside of your week. I hope that you are well, grounding your feet, speaking your truth, but of course, placing God first in everything that you do. It's bright and early, family. I'm up here and got my morning coffee. I'm putting this video out because I get this all the time from youth family. I always hear people say, Gerald, you're always chipper, you're always optimistic, you always seem to have energy for everybody else. But what I don't understand is how can I make my summer the best summer possible? Because see, right now, really, I'm going through something and I want clarity, but I don't know how to speak it. I won't. It's like I have. There's my emotions are locked up, and I'm really. The truth is, that's nothing but insecurity. But now it's the summertime. How can I make this the best summer ever? Well, I'm making this video for you. If you do these couple things that I'm gonna throw out to you, not only will you this will be the best summer ever, but this will also be the springboard for your life. Now, the truth, that's the only way I can put it. It's going to require you to have low fortitude. It's going to require you to go deep. It's going to require you to tap into your strength because you do understand that God is not going to give you anything that you can't deal with. But we deal with, we must first acknowledge its presence in our life before we can even correct it. How about have proper footing? Because even if you want to make corrections, you must be truthful. That means you must be vulnerable. That means you may have to do something that you've never done before in your life, and that is to love yourself. How about have the courage to go within yourself and start to do some inventory? Because the truth of the matter, family, because loyalty is not defined by because you're this there. Because there's a lot of people that are just there, that are just stuck, and they want nothing more than to breathe again. Are you breathing? Do you have peace of mind? Or do you have that mind fog that they like to use? Or you feel indecisive? How about feel impulsive? Or just simply stagnant? Because if you're feeling some of these traits that I've described, unfortunately, you are holding yourself hostage from the life that is truly intended for you. So we're gonna get back on point. We're gonna give we're gonna give ourselves what's required to have the life that we envision. Because you gotta understand, family, if your life does not reflect what is found within, that's not your life. There's no different than the environment that you revolve around, that you choose to be in. If there is no emotional safety there, that's not the right environment to be in. Who am I talking to? Because we also know that we're talking about those two special spiritual gifts that was given the moment that you took your first breath. The gift of unconditional love, loving yourself. And you can't respect yourself or see the value of your life, which is priceless if love is not there. How about build? What is the point of having those dreams and aspirations, which are nothing but prequels to the manifestation of what is found within your spirit, if you don't love you? Notice the trajectory that is going. Without love, there is no you. Who am I talking to? So I'm going to throw these things out, and if they apply, embrace. If they don't, that's okay. Because I'm a firm believer, the intended heart and the intended mind, it is going to reach you. You've put up a good job of putting a big front that has convinced your environment that that does not apply, but behind closed doors, oh, behind closed doors, you don't feel like yourself. It shouldn't feel like you have to strike a plea deal or barter just to be you. Because the fact of the matter that there is only one. So are you ready for change? Or are you going to allow this season that we just ushered in come and go and be a part of your history like the rest? Only you know this. So only you can change it. Because at the end of the day, no one can make you be you. So do you know who you are? Or are you silently fighting a battle that has no positive outcome? So let's throw these things out real quick. So, because I want you to have the best summer ever. And you can take these tools with you and use those to navigate the rest of your life. The choice is, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm talking to you. Are you ready? Because you deserve this. You've been wanting this for a long time, but yet you refuse to allow it to be spoken into existence. Why? Because of what he's telling you, what he's doing for you, what she's not doing, and what they're not supporting. Sometimes you have to walk alone. That's not a bad thing. Because some of the most transformational periods of your life is done alone. Metaphorically, that is only within you. Intimacy. Into me, I see. Are you looking within yourself? Or are you allowing your environment to define what is being displayed? How about what is being extorted? Because if your environment is not supporting you, you're being extorted. How about manipulated? How about simply not acknowledge that you exist? Who am I talking to? So let's turn the corner, family, because I know summer's here and time is precious. And it's important that you seize the day. You know, carpe diem. I know that's for somebody because you live by it, but it just doesn't manifest as it should. So we're going to bring that in fruition starting today. Number one, now that it is the summer, look back at the last 9 months of your life. And in that period of those 9 months, look at all the associations, the connections, and those who have been afforded access to your life. Now, only you know this. And of course, they do too. Do they possess what's required to build your life? Did you hear me? Does your environment support and reflect your state of mind? So therefore, Your friends should be the motivation or the validation of where you're going. Now, only you know this because a lot of people have got it misconstrued that they think that because I'm putting in time, that is all that's required. No, there is work still required. And there's a whole lot of life still to be claimed because it's your life. Did you hear me? Yours. So, what is going to be required to bring that smile back on your face? What is going to be required to give you peace inside you? What is going to be required for you to finally lay your head in a place where there is peace of mind? Because if you're in an environment where there is no peace of mind, it will affect your state of mind, which what always occurs, impulsive thinking. But what is the outcome on that? You never get what you need. Sure, you'll get what you want, but it's temporary, like aspirin. It is only there to numb down or dumb down the problem. But if you don't go to the root of what the problem is, the problem will return. How about some of those associations? Mhm. So the first thing I would recommend, this this tool, because that's what it is. It's time for you to be transparent by being honest with yourself and go through each and every one of them, each and every one of associations that you have, each and every contact that was embraced. And as you look down, ask yourself, does this person bring the best out of me? Does this person, is this person the rep? Does this person right here represent what is required to know me, to know what I think? Does this person have the tools to build? Because if you're not building, you're stagnant. Did you hear me? Nothing comes out of being stagnant and complacent but death. Did you hear me? That's real. So let's start with this tool right here. And every contact that has just been sitting there, idle, taking up data space, have the courage and delete them. If you ain't heard from them in 6 weeks, 6 months, remove it. Some of y'all, that's going to take an act of Congress to get you to do it because you're afraid that if you do, that person will be gone from your life. But let me tell you something. This is the bitter truth. At the end of the day, connections, associations are prioritized. So if your connection with this person is number one, but they see it in a different manner, why are you holding on to that? Remove them. Because when you decide to remove them, you also give an opportunity for someone who will. Who am I talking to? This also applies to your social media too, because nobody wins with connections but advertisers. Sure, I understand there may have been that, I don't want to use the term fate because fate is not real. There may have been a connection that was forced, but keep in mind, a real connection doesn't know time. It only knows love. And they're going to reach out. And I understand you may have some friends that truly have your best interest. And time has progressed because they are doing what's required for them. They're living their lives. But you know what is not, let me correct myself. You know what's apparent? You feel that love every time you hear their voice. You pick right up where you left off at. And guess what? They're going to tell you what you need, not what you want. So now, have the courage to go through your contacts and remove that clutter. Remove those distractions and watch how different your attitude will be. Because some people, unfortunately, allow allow social media to be an emotional museum. You know, a museum. What do we do when we go to museums? We look, admire, and we exit. That shouldn't be your life. That shouldn't be your life. That's why one night stands are not worth it. That's why the people that value you, they gonna make time, even if it's just a moment. Because guess what? It just takes a second to say hello. How you doing? I was thinking about you. You okay? That's what genuine is. But unfortunately, we live in a world where there are opportunists. And what do I say about opportunists? Opportunists do not need your help to expose themselves. But what is required is you have the courage to acknowledge. And unfortunately, we live in a world where there's a lot of opportunists that are looking to treat your life like a moving bus, just getting on because there's room, going nowhere. And they love the fact that you are distracted because they know that as long as you're distracted, they're distracted. And they will ride that bus, that emotional bus, until it comes to an end. So that's number one. Number two, where you live at. We accumulate things indirectly all the time. When's the last time you purged where you lived at? You may have clothes, you may have property that you know that you have no use for. Why are you holding on to it? Sometimes we tend to hold on to things that have connections or correlations to people that we encountered. Do you realize that has spiritual energy on it? Especially if it was not earned. The gym? If it's not rightfully yours, it's going to hurt to hold on to it. I know that's for somebody. But somebody's been in a relationship that you know in your heart it's been dead from the first hello. Who am I talking to? But you feel guilty for requiring because you want to grow. You do understand that where you're headed, not everybody's going to go where you're headed. Not everybody's going to earn the right to know your story. Not everybody is going to afford to, not everybody's going to be able to know the intimacies of what's inside your mind. You realize how private your thoughts are? But that's the one thing that opportunists love. They love getting in your head. And depending on who you interact or allow in, they like to get on top of you too. But there's no evidence to build a foundation. This is what causes a lot of strife. This is also what causes a lot of anger. I know y'all know somebody that you told them, you said, yeah, they look good, but something ain't right about it. And they didn't listen. And they had to go through a lesson. But even though that person was being removed from their lives, the lesson still lingered. You see that emotional regurgitation effect. You know why? Because they refuse to give themselves permission to love themselves more. So this goes back to what I said before. If your associations and your connections, may it be emotionally, socially, economically, are not blessed, you ain't gonna be able to hold on to them. And what that will do is cause what we know as Stockholm syndrome. That means the person that's doing wrong, you are supporting the abuse. You're allowing them, you're giving them platform so that they can continue to wreak havoc or distract you from where you initially be. Let me put this in a better perspective for somebody. Queens, you want the man of your dreams? You want him? Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is love on you. The second thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to give way. That means every person that is in your life, and only you know this, that cannot enhance your life. Now, I'm not talking, oh, he's the sugar daddy or he's the secret lover. No, 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 no. No. Those people, male and female, come into your life to do one thing. That's to cause damage. May it be physically, but most of the time, emotionally. There are millions of people walking around with emotional scars that know they have emotional scars and they won't do nothing about it. They actually hold on to those emotional scars like a badge of honor when it actually is nothing but a shield of pain. Why are you doing that? Because you saw your sister do that? Or you may have reared in an environment because that's all you saw your mama doing? Or you saw your dad because your dad never chose to marry, so he was a womanizer? This isn't shade, this is love. This happens every day. And maybe that's the reason why you feel stuck. You feel frozen. It's not building you up. It's keeping you suppressed. Who am I talking to? So you're going to have to ground your feet, family. You're going to have to do some self-inventory. If you already know what's broken, why won't you give yourself permission to fix it? But we're not talking quick fixes. We're talking forever because your life is priceless. So let's flip it. We have some people right here that know that that work environment that you're in is toxic. Every day that you get up, go outside your door to more or less do financial time, only to have you come home depleted, which if there are other people in your home, they feel the energy that comes from you. How about all them spirits that you mingled with? Because there's a lot of dark spirits where you work. You do know that, right? Why do you think there's so much bickering and gossiping when you should be making your money? Who am I talking to? But the real question should be this, because I know some of you can relate to this. You know how you have that person that's in your work environment that they spend more effort in being the nuisance than they do being productive? But no one has questioned this one thing. If you're so unhappy where you work or who is running the show, because unless you're an entrepreneur, you have to answer to someone for that paycheck. If you're so unhappy and it's seen in your productivity, what's keeping you there? What's making you get up every day to go punch that clock for more abuse? You do understand that sometimes God will allow certain situations to occur just to see if you will react and persevere. And I know some people may be saying, well, why would God Allow me to suffer. You do realize sometimes God will allow you to stay the course so that you will do something about it. Some of y'all are in work environments that you know you shouldn't be there because of the fact that it's not challenging, it's not financially rewarding, but it's safe. Your life is not safe. Your life is blessed. Who am I talking to? Hold that thought. What are you doing? Lay down. Lay down. Stop making that noise. Y'all notice every time I'm on the video, you hear him. That's because he just being a ham. He behind. You can't see, but right behind me, behind my sofa, is his kennel. And every time I get on, that's his little way of, he noticed me. I love him, but he know what time it is. But let's get back to what I'm saying. If you're in a work environment which you're unhappy, what's keeping you there? If your money is being funny, why won't you invest in yourself by finding other opportunities? But see, I know we live in a world where you got some folks that say, well, you know what? Bump that, I'll quit. Bills still have to be paid. And that's really a bad move. Maybe this is a job that is just for now so that you can get to forever. But God's not going to give you what you need until you actually give yourself permission, these soup coolers are, to speak it into existence. How about ground your feet? Because as long as you stay the course, as long as you stay where you are, you're robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself. And you know this. How many times have you had an opportunity or something and you corrected it? Maybe you're not supposed to be the employee and you're supposed to be the boss. What's keeping you there? What's keeping you in place? Tyson, lay down. Go ahead. Lay down. I'm not going to do this with you. Be quiet. So, maybe now it's time for you to find better opportunity. But a better opportunity will not present itself until you decide to manifest it. Because there's plenty of people that will rob you of your energy and want to keep you stuck because they stuck. They don't want to grow. And like-minded attracts like-minded. I know there's scientists out there that say, no, opposites attract. That's a bunch of bunk. That's a bunch of bunk. And they know it. You can't have associations without a like-minded thought. Why would you put yourself there if there was something there that you agreed upon? So who's loving you? Here's the third thing you might want to consider. You always hear people saying this. You always hear people using it out of content, really using it as a false shield to you. How about start using the word no? N-O. So that sounds so negative, Gerald. It's not. Because the word no means under review. If you have a certain standard, it will not be applied unless you demand it. But that does not give you a reason to be an asshole or to be someone that just wants to wreak havoc, because you will reap what you sow, family. That and And that's what's going on now. There's a lot of people where they are starting to understand, or what we want to use the word awake. You was never asleep. And they're starting to see choices that were made. The evidence is the harvest known as your life. So if you don't like your life, or what's going on with your life, what's keeping you from changing it? Do you realize you don't need anybody's permission to change your life? Amazing as that seems, you don't need nobody to tell you that you want to grow. You can grow. And let's put this on a literal sense. You have some people that are so insecure, and they know they are, that when you see someone, like, okay, here's a good example. You see people now that have paid dues through sweat, application, diet, and clean peace of mind. Their temple, their body is in great shape. But the same people that criticize should be the same people that should take note. Why are you hating on that person because they did what you didn't do? When in actuality, inside you, that's what you long to be. We've got hundreds of thousands of videos about your beautiful hair. Your beautiful hair. And there's a small microcosm talking about health and fitness. And there's even a very smaller community that's talking about you, about your spirit. These people, I included, don't do it to be an internet sensation. Don't do it to get rich. Not one time have you heard me say, can I have? Because what I give to you is priceless. I want you to be the best you. So that if whatever I'm conveying to you makes sense, and only you know, first of all, give me a thumbs up. How about that? That way I know you and I are on the same page. Because I'm going to tell you what, there are people in your environment right now that want to see you broken. They don't want you to be the best you. They want to see you suffering. And you know what's sad about it is? Because they know that if you do that, you're going to leave them. They're going to get left behind. And here's the funny part about it. They're going to watch you grow. Oh, yes. How many times have you seen somebody on social media say all these bad things about Johnny or Sarah, but yet they spend just as much time watching what Johnny and Sarah is doing? You do understand you give away your power. You're giving away your emotional power to someone who will not understand, because guess what? That connection is not there. It's not there. Why are you being frustrated at what someone's doing when they're not in your life? But I also believe that God is the ultimate comedian, because God will do this. God will allow you to see that person again and again and again and again throughout your life. You know what that does? It gives you validation for two things. Either A, You'll come to understand why that person was in your life to begin with and the lesson that they represented, the lesson or the blessing. And the other one is this, not to be mean. This will also give you validation why they ain't there. So you got to make a choice, family, because it's about free will. So if you're spending energy, how about your hard-earned dollar so that you can look a certain way, sound a certain way to that person that's don't care. You're not in their life. You're giving all of yourself to this person. You'll come to understand this person they never deserve to hear you breathe. And you're actually spinning your wheels to a person who refused to grow. And I know there are going to be some people say, well, Gerald, that's who I am. It is what it is. But you're miserable. You're miserable and you're suffering in silence because you choose to. Because guess what? Nobody can make you do what you don't want to do. So let's go ahead and throw this little myth out of there. You know, when you always hear people say, it just happened. Nothing just happens if you're a human being. There was some thought in that. That doesn't mean the decisions were correct, but you thought about it. And before you can have any action, you must have what? A thought. So when you hear that excuse, they're basically telling you, I don't see your value. Now you choose to stick around. But don't feel sorry for yourself when you feel unsafe because that person does not see your value. They don't value your time. They don't value your time because they don't value theirs. So they don't mind wasting something that doesn't have any collateral damage to them. I say this out of love because some of y'all indirectly are going to waste your summer on people, places, and events that did not have to come to pass. Because guess what? That's what the devil wants. He already knows who you are. He already knows that person in the future. He can't afford that because he knows that that person you're going to be is going to inspire people that's coming behind you. So you don't get a pass because unfortunately you had parents that did not know how to be parents. I know that struck somebody. You're still dealing with the wounds of what your parents did or what they didn't do. Why don't you make that motivation to be the exception to the rule? Because you don't know, you may be the one that will be the matriarch or the patriarch of your family. You see it already. They like to gravitate towards you, but is it for a positive reason? Or is it just for the status quo? Well, you ain't doing nothing, so I'm not doing nothing. We be two bumps on the log. Meanwhile, life still goes on outside your door. It's your decision to put your toe in there. So what did you fall through? You fall underwater, but you'll get back up. It'll force you to swim or drown. You got a whole lot of life to live, family. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Someone said, yeah. I feel your energy. So why are you allowing those people? Listen, here's the thing too. Let's go back to this. Why are you still communicating with people who ain't going nowhere? Don't you realize you are basically giving a report to the people that don't give a damn about you? It's evident. Just look at their life. This is not shade. This is reality. If they're still doing the same thing they were doing before you when you met them, and they're still doing it now, that's where they choose to be, family. Some of y'all are taking on the burdens that are not even yours. So you're going to let another summer come and go? That would be the tragedy. So let's shift gears real quick. This may be the summer for some of y'all that you're going to finally step out of your comfort zone and let go of some of these social biases. Some of you may have been raised in an environment where you look at certain things, you say, well, I don't want to do that because really you have no legitimate reason, but the fact that you're afraid. But you allow your community to convince you that if you wish to do so, you are more or less turning your back on them. Well, guess what? That's none of your business. You see things on the boob tube every day that you say, you try to downplay it, like, that's crazy. I can't believe they doing that. But deep down inside you long the fact that you really would like to try it. And that's all that's required. It may be food. You see certain foods like, damn, that reminds me of what such and such makes. Oh, that ain't nothing. But you see the commonality of how it's prepared. Hold on a minute. Will you stop? Be quiet. I'm not going to tell you no more. Okay, sorry. Here that will be one thing that you watch from the distance. Watch from the cheap seats. He said, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. Do you realize how much you will change the trajectory of your life if you do? But just remember this. Hold on a minute. I said be quiet. I'm not playing with you. Be quiet. I said be quiet. Sorry, y'all. What I'm saying is, it's okay to try something and that ain't your cup of tea. But guess what comes out of that? You gain insight. You gain wisdom from the experience because now you have knowledge firsthand. It's okay. Because really, when you think about it, your life is about trial and error. That's how insight is forged. That's how wisdom is made. You realize how many third hearsay or third party opinions have been given validity because of the people that didn't even try it, but they've got opinions on stuff. Well, how do you know about it? Well, that's what I heard. What? Are you serious? You gonna go off of what someone else said? Yourself a disservice, family. Don't do that. Because guess what? Your competition, they want you to stay that way. Because as long as you don't do anything, you're controllable. You'll stay right there. You ain't got to do nothing. But if you look a little deeper, what has been going on? You've seen a whole lot of people nowadays trying to take care of themselves. See a whole lot of queens, you're growing your hair out because finally two things either happen. You realize you're tired of spending money when you can invest a fraction of that and let that beautiful hair grow. And I'm proud of you. Because real men, we love that. We don't care if it's 1 inch or down to your ass. It's yours. It represents you. And you know what makes your hair grow? Your happiness. Why you think they call it a crown? Because it represents your glory. Who am I talking to? So why are you going to allow the people in the cheap seats to dictate how you're going to live your life? Now, I got this. There's some people that you don't want to admit that you emulate what you see on TV. There's a million and one Nicki Minaj's and Rihanna's and Brianna's and whatever. But there's only one you. But here's the sad thing about it. As you giving your money, your time to these people, they don't know you. They don't know what you've given. And unfortunately, they don't care. They don't. You know why? Because they live in their life. They live in their life. And that's the moral of it. Life don't stop, family. Life don't stop. Just make sure that whatever you choose to do, it represents the best of you. Because your last name is not regret. Your last name is not setback. Your last name is not disappointment. So you can be like everybody else, because I know there are going to be some people, it's going to go off one side, one ear and out the other. And they're going to continue to do what they've been doing. And they're going to continue to sit at that table called misery, eating up that big old bowl called pain. You see it. It's written all over their face. Some of the most powerful statements is done in silence. They're looking at you. I don't like you. Don't even know why. But really, what they're saying is, I don't like you because I don't like me. And because of the fact that you're trying to change and grow, I feel scared. You're gonna leave me. That's what they're doing in their actions when you look at it. Now let me turn the corner. I'm gonna get off of this. This is my message to my queens. Queens, you know I love you, right? I do. When are you gonna stop subjecting yourself to social standards? Society's convinced you that the only thing that matters is what you physically look like, not here. But the contradiction is they want to convince you that no, we're equal across the board, but yet you subject yourself to standards of, no, you're just a piece of meat. You're just a nice little tail. You're just known for your breasts. You're just known to go around the block with whoever. But what about that little girl that lives in you? What about that little girl that's been waiting for oh so long to be loved, to feel safe, to be respected? See, society says, no, I will get the respect. If I take respect, I have to do something that I normally wouldn't do. To only spend so much part of your life trying to repair it. That's not your story. They even gotten it so crafty with it. Now they got Sarah sniffing under your skirt, convincing you don't need a man. You're right. You don't need a man. You need a spiritual one. And if he doesn't have a relationship with God, unfortunately, I hate to tell you, he'll never have a relationship with you. And unfortunately, it's because you don't have one. So there's that like-minded there. So you can't build off of somebody that don't have tools to move forward. That's for somebody. Doesn't matter what you do behind closed doors and the tricks you know. It'll never make you feel safe. And you wonder why you see so many of y'all with them big glasses pushing those expensive cars. When you really don't realize that every time you go down the street, somebody's saying, we know how you got that. You can't buy your respect. It's found within you. So, family, we're in summer now. This is all about self-inventory and having the courage to remove the distractions so you can go forward. If they're not helping you build, they're helping you block. So the choice is you gonna let that stay, or are you gonna step over it and fly? God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You know what's real crazy too? And I'm gonna shut up. The same people, I say this with love, but I saw this a long time ago. Queen, why is it that you see all these feminists out here? They're angry. You do understand those are nothing but broken little girls trying to build a relationship with another little girl. But guess what? They lead in domestic violence now. That would have never happened if you had a man to put God first in everything you do. Because you know what happens when a man puts God first in everything? He places you right there with him. Be blessed.